You found the place, Evelyn. What place? I asked dreamily. Your safe place is exactly where I need you to be. Need me to be? That's right. Now you're ready.
Oh.
I want you to kill him.
Julie was sat right next to me. I hadn't heard or felt her move, but she was right there. But that wasn't what had made me jump. Her face was a mere couple of inches from mine. Her face angled low, her eyes staring at me in a horrible grin.
Following the third day of this relapse, she never left her bed again. She could scarcely move her head. She did not want her bed to be touched, not even to have her bed covers arranged. Her crepuscular terrors advanced now in the form of monsters that dragged themselves towards the bed and laboriously climbed upon the bedspread.
Welcome to episode 108 of XOXO.
Oh, she's shaking her titties.
No,
at
I'm
me.
shaking my sweatshirts. I think I've got crummies. I've got crustaceans on top.
Yeah, she's got fish all
I've got
down there.
lobsters hanging off my nipples and crabs
Ooh.
aplenty.
Okay. Well, that's not
I've
stunning.
had a coffee. How are you?
I'm good. I take coconut milk in my coffee.
Do you?
Yeah.
Hang on. What?
Yes,
Why?
I do actually, and I really enjoy my life decision.
I love
there.
a coconut milk. I do like a coconut milk. A coconut milk,
It's very nice.
PB2 powder, and
What?
banana. Stunning. It's like a
Oh, you're
fucking
having, like,
milkshake.
protein shakes.
It's not protein.
Who are you?
It's not protein.
Next, it's going to be a Huel.
It's not. No, fuck that. I'm not a cunt.
Yeah, I know. I do. It really icks me out, the Huels.
Huel. I hate seeing people drink those. I mean,
Me
it's
too.
Weight Watchers again.
Well,
It's those milkshakes
it's
you used to
so
get from Weight Watchers.
unimaginative.
It's so boring.
Please.
I
Treat
like
yourself to anything else.
I like the PB2 because it's like a banana toffee milkshake when you can't really be arsed with breakfast,
Yeah.
you know. But Huel is just rank.
It is rank, and I've tried it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
And all these big gains men are fucking always
Oh, don't.
banging on about it.
Well, current boyfriend bought one the other day, and he went, "Will you
No.
respect me less?" And I was like,
Current boyfriend. I mean, just goes to show how that's affected you.
"Well, listen, yeah." And I was like, "No." 'cause
Why did he buy one of those?
He was, but it was just funny that he commented on it at the time.
I mean,
He
at
was
least
like,
he's got enough self-awareness.
Yeah.
What? Why? For a drink?
he was
Hungry?
In fact, hungry after our full day at pub.
And why didn't he just eat some food?
I agree, Hannah.
Just eat some fucking food.
Have some bloody
Life's too bloody short.
So yeah, have you got any talking points for me?
No. Shall I pick a tarot? I'm joking. I know you're desperate to.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn, yeah. Yeah, I
what
haven't
do you like suspect I'm gonna get? Just for a bit of fun.
Okay, a bit of fun.
Also,
I would like you
here's
to
the
come
book.
and
Catch the book.
I'd like you to come and start feeling the tarot first.
Yeah, okay.
And then I'll see if any of the energy spills over into my face.
All right.
The 3 of carrots.
That one. It's that one. It has to be that one. Yeah.
The 3 of
Yep.
carrots.
You think 3 of carrots, do you? No, I don't think it's going to be. And I think it's going to be... Ooh, this one we've never had.
Let me see.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goblets.
Oh, I don't think...
That's a really stunning one. Can you look it up on Biddy? Because I feel
7.
like this one's going to be really good. It's got all sorts of different things within the goblet. So one is a head.
7 of cups.
7 of cups. One's got a wreath in, one's got a dragon in, one's got a big tower in it, one's got a snake in it.
Biddy Tarot's got all the algorithms right on.
Can I ask? I'm going to predict what that means.
Was it upright or...
Upright. This is how I see this. I think the 7 of cups means there's lots of choice in my life, and it's almost overwhelming. I've got all sorts of different facets going on in my head, and I need to clear my mind.
That is exactly what it means.
Really?
Yeah. And the 7 of cups, a man stands before 7 cups filled with various gifts. Some cups bear desirable gifts such as jewels and a wreath of victory, but others hold gifts that aren't gifts at all. Instead, they are curses such as a snake or dragon. The clouds in the cups symbolise the man's wishes and dreams, and the different gifts inside suggest that you need to be careful what you wish for. This is about this is about what we're doing right now.
What do you mean?
But that's exactly it. That's exactly what it means. Like, you've got to be careful about what you
In
choose.
case you pick a goblet with a snake
Yeah, just
in.
bleep that out, whatever I said. Sorry, Tim. Yeah, choices need to be made, but in doing so, you must go beyond illusion and allure and instead focus on what's right for you.
Wow.
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 Whoa. I really want to pay for one of those like TikTok tarot women, those TikTok psychic women, because they make me laugh so
They
much.
are funny. That's really interesting though. As
Yeah.
in like, that really appeals to me, you know, Hannah. Just being like lots of, it's almost like a kid in a toy store. There's all these
you have
like
to be
fancy
careful.
things, but you need to stay
Don't
true
just
to
take
who
the
you
first
are.
thing that you see.
Yeah.
Think.
Have a think.
Think on, for God's sake.
Think on. I have to say, in exciting news, me and Hannah are planning a trip to Romania next year for our Patreon.
Yes,
we
we
are
are.
going to go to Transylvania.
We're going to go to Bram Castle.
Yeah. We're going to go to Bram Castle. We're going to go to the haunted, forest around it.
There's a lake that I keep seeing on a bus.
Yeah. What?
I keep seeing an advert for a lake in Romania. It's literally see it every day.
Like
It's
Bled or something.
no.
That's in
But it is a
where's
burr.
Lake Bled? Is Lake Bled in
Isn't it Castle
Slovenia?
Bled?
No, I don't know.
Bled. It is Castle B though. It is Lake B though in Romania.
But also like this is our first international Patreon trip.
Yes, it is.
Which I'm really excited for.
I'm very excited. We're planning it as we speak.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very
It is,
exciting.
isn't it? And also I'm like, if
Will we
any of
survive?
the Huns have any like international like recos of where we should go. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously America.
Yeah,
But
we need to go
that's
there.
maybe
Yeah.
a 2026.
Or if anybody has any, if anyone's been to Romania before or been to Bram Castle.
Bran.
Why am I saying Bram like the fucking
Yeah.
musician?
Bram.
Bran Castle. Bram. Jesus Christ. I've lost my mind. Bran Castle, please do let us know. Have you got a story?
I do actually. And in fact, do you know what I'm going to do, Hannah?
Yes.
I've brought a little bookie with me and I'm going to read out this email. So we've got an email from a Hun.
Yeah.
From Cecilia.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to
Is
read
she
out.
Spanish?
See.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So Cecilia says, "Hey, I've been hooked on your podcast lately."
Love that. Do you mean
And
lately? Forever.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about a couple of stories I think you totally enjoy.
Mm.
I'm from Uruguay.
Oh.
No, Uruguay. And we've got this amazing writer who wrote a book called Historias Cortas, short stories. And seriously, they're super intense and kind of creepy. One story that's been stuck in my head forever is El Almohadón de Plumas, i.e. the feather pillow. In it, a young woman, actually, I'm not going to read the synopsis.
Let's see it.
And then the other one is called The Decapitated Chicken.
Right.
And she says, this one's a real roaster roaster
This
cola.
is a real roaster.
This
the
is a real
roasted
roaster
chicken.
cola. But she's put, it's a bit controversial these days, but still super nerve wracking, which, do you know what? Anything could happen. I'm going to read you them today.
God.
Both stories are definitely worth reading, and I'd love if you talked about them on the podcast. The writer Horacio Quiroga is one of the best from my country. He wrote these stories based on his time in the jungles of northern Argentina,
Oh, right.
in Misiones. He lived in a really remote area and was deeply affected by the harsh realities of his life. His stories reflect his personal experiences with death, loss, and nature.
Wow.
Which we love. He had a unique way of exploring these themes with a lot of psychological depth.
Right.
We have so much of that,
So
don't we?
too much.
God. Plus, he was influenced by French naturalism, same, and Gothic literature.
Yeah, lovely.
Same, which you can really feel in his stories. Anyway, hope you check them out. Let me know what you think if you get around to reading them. Hope you're having a great day. Cecilia Morales. Okay,
Thank you,
So
Cecilia.
what I did, like a little nerd, went on Amazon, found Quiroga, translated into English.
Lovely.
Now, would you prefer?
I want the
I'll
feather
probably,
pillow, I think.
They're both quite short stories, so I could probably do a couple. But I'll start with the feather pillow. Shall
Yeah,
I?
yeah.
God, tuck in, Hans.
Delicious. What the fuck was that? You are such a nerd.
Such a
Look at her
nerd.
nerding out.
I'm
Ever since
frothing.
we started this, she's like...
Chomping at the bit for
She's like...
this. Literally, I couldn't be more.
Yeah, go on,
frothing.
you fucking pussy hole. Let's go.
Right. Do you want to think about what you just said?
No.
No. Okay.
I prefer not thinking all that much.
This is called the feather pillow.
Yes, please.
Her entire honeymoon gave her hot and cold shivers. a blonde, angelic and timid young girl. The childish fancies she had dreamt about being a bride had been chilled by her husband's rough character.
I can see the translation already.
She loved him very much, nonetheless, although sometimes she gave a light shudder when, as they returned home through the streets together at night, she cast a furtive glance at the impressive stature of her Jordan, who had been silent for an hour. He, for his part, loved her profoundly, but never let it be seen. Oh, that's sad, isn't it?
Why?
Well, yeah, I guess he's one of the cold, burly types.
A man.
For 3 months, they had been married in April, they lived in a special kind of bliss. Doubtless she would have wished less severity in the rigorous sky of love, more expansive and less cautious tenderness, but her husband's impassive manner always restrained her.
What?
This sounds like ChatGPT, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm like, who translated this then?
Yeah.
Margaret. Margaret, please.
Amazing.
Come on. Okay. The house in which they lived influenced her chills and shuddering to no small degree. The whiteness of the silent patio, friezes, columns and marble statues produced the wintry impression of an enchanted palace.
Is this their house?
Yeah.
I don't know why she married him then.
Yeah, no, it's fucking palatial.
Yeah.
Inside, the glacial brilliance of stucco, the completely bare walls, affirmed the sensation of unpleasant coldness. As one crossed from one room to another, the echo of his steps reverberated throughout the house, as if the long abandonment had sensitized its resonance. Alicia passed the autumn in this strange love nest. She had determined, however, to cast a veil over her former dreams and live like a sleeping beauty in the hostile house, trying not to think about anything until her husband arrived each evening. It is not strange that she grew thin.
Oh.
She had a light attack of influenza that dragged on insidious...
Light? Just a touch of influenza.
Yeah, a little smattering of influenza.
Don't people actually die of influenza?
It's such a
I think Edward
stunning
Cullen died
name,
of
isn't
that
it? Influenza.
in Twilight.
Did he?
Yeah. I think it is quite nice, influenza.
I'd call an animal
My
that.
child.
Yeah,
influenza.
child/animal.
Influenza, come on, go to the shop for me. Get me 20 B&H.
Influenza, come on. She had a light attack of influenza that dragged on insidiously for days and days. After that, Alicia's health never returned. Finally, one afternoon, she was able to go into the garden, supported on her husband's arm. She looked around listlessly. Suddenly, Jordan, with deep tenderness, ran his hand very slowly over her head, and Alicia instantly burst into sobs, throwing her arms around his neck. For a long time, she cried out all the fears she had kept silent, redoubling her weeping at Jordan's slightest caress. Then her sobs subsided.
It's all a bit much. It's all a bit dramatic from both of them, isn't it?
Well, I think because he's holding back tenderness so much that
Right.
at the slightest touch, she's
Leave
like,
him.
yeah, but this is olden time
Yeah.
Argentina, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not as easy.
Sure.
Then her sobs subsided and she stood a long while, her face hidden in the hollow of his neck, not moving or speaking a word. This was the last day Alicia was well enough to be up. On the following day, she awakened feeling faint. Jordan's doctor examined her with minute attention, prescribing calm and absolute rest. I don't know, he said to Jordan at the street door. She has a great weakness that I'm unable to explain. And with no vomiting, nothing. If she wakes tomorrow as she did today, call me at once. When she awakened the following day, Alicia was worse. There was a consultation. It was agreed there was an anemia of incredible progression, completely inexplicable. Alicia had no more fainting spells, but she was visibly moving towards death. The lights were lighted all day long in her bedroom, and there was complete silence. Hours went by without the slightest sound. Alicia dozed. Jordan virtually lived in the drawing room, which was always lit.
Always.
Always lit.
Oh, we've got Dick Van Dyke on.
With tireless persistence, he paced ceaselessly from one end of the room to the other. The carpet swallowed his steps. At times, he entered the bedroom and continued his silent pacing back and forth alongside the bed, stopping for an instant at each end to regard his wife. Suddenly, Alicia began to have hallucinations, vague images at first seeming to float in the air. Then descending to floor level, her eyes excessively wide, she stared continuously at the carpet on either side of the head of her bed. One night she suddenly focused on one spot. Then she opened her mouth to scream, and pearls of sweat suddenly beaded her nose and lips. "Jordan! Jordan!" she clamoured, rigid with fright, still staring at the carpet. Jordan ran to the bedroom, and when she saw him appear, Alicia screamed with terror. "It's I! Alicia, it's I!" Alicia looked at him confusedly. She looked at the carpet. She looked at him once again, and after a long moment of stupefied confrontation, she regained her senses. She smiled and took her husband's hand in hers, caressing it, trembling for half an hour. Among her most persistent hallucinations was that of an anthropoid oh dear. Don't know what that means, Margaret.
Get Margaret on the phone.
Margaret, what's an anthropoid?
This dumb bitch.
Hallucinations was that of an anthropoid poised on his fingertips on the carpet, staring at her. The doctors returned, but to no avail. They saw before them a diminishing life, a life bleeding away day by day, hour by hour, absolutely without their knowing why. During their last consultation, Alicia lay in a stupor while they took her pulse, passing her inert wrist from one to another. They observed her a long time in silence and then moved into the dining room. Phew. The discouraged chief physician shrugged his shoulders. It isn't an inexplicable case. There is little we can do.
Oh, she's dying.
"That's my last hope," Jordan groaned, and he staggered blindly against the table. Alicia's life was fading away in the subdelirium of anemia, a delirium which grew worse throughout the evening hours, but which let up somewhat after dawn. The illness never worsened during the daytime, but each morning she awakened pale as death, almost in swoon. It seemed only at night that her life drained out of her in new waves of blood. Always when she awakened, she had the sensation of lying collapsed in the bed with £1 million weight on top of her. Following the third day of this relapse, she never left her bed again. She could scarcely move her head. She did not want her bed to be touched, not even to have her bed covers arranged. Her crepuscular terrors advanced now in the form of monsters that dragged themselves towards the bed and laboriously climbed upon the bedspread. Then she lost consciousness. The final 2 days, she raved ceaselessly in a weak voice. The lights funereally illuminated the bedroom and drawing room. In the deathly silence of the house, the only sound was the monotonous delirium from the bedroom and the dull echoes of Jordan's eternal pacing. Finally, Alicia died. The servant, when she came in afterwards to strip the now empty bed, stared wonderingly for a moment at the pillow. "Sir," she called Jordan in a low voice, "there are stains on the pillow that look like blood." Jordan approached rapidly and bent over the pillow. Truly, on the case, on both sides of the hollow left by Alicia's head, were 2 small, dark spots.
Well, surely it's not that big a reach, is it?
Well, yeah, but she's got anemia. Why is she bleeding? Do you know what I mean? "They look like punches," the servant murmured after a moment of motionless observation.
I thought you said punches, but you just done it in a weird accent.
Punches.
I thought punches.
They look like punches. They look like someone's been punches on the pillow.
Punches on the face.
Punches on the face, punches on the pillow. They look like
Punctures.
they look like punctures,
Yeah.
the servant murmured after a moment of motionless observation. "Hold it up to the light," Jordan told her. The servant raised the pillow but immediately dropped it and stood staring at it, livid and trembling. Without knowing why, Jordan felt the hair rise on the back of his neck. "What is it?" he murmured. "It's very heavy," the servant whispered, still trembling. Jordan picked it up, and it was extraordinarily heavy. He carried it out of the room, and on the dining room table he ripped open the case and the ticking with a slash. The top feathers floated away, and the servant, her mouth open wide, gave a scream of horror and covered her face with her clenched fists. In the bottom of the pillowcase, among the feathers, slowly moving its hairy legs, was a monstrous animal, a living, vicious ball. It was so swollen one could scarcely make out its mouth. Night after night since Alicia had taken to her bed, this abomination had stealthily applied its mouth, its proboscis one might better say, to the girl's temples, sucking her blood. The puncture was scarcely perceptible. The daily plumping of the pillow had doubtlessly at first impeded its progress, but as soon as the girl could no longer move, the suction became vertiginous. In 5 days, in 5 nights, the monster had drained Alicia's life away. These parasites of feathered creatures, diminutive in their habitual environment, reach enormous proportions under certain conditions. Human blood seems particularly favourable to them, and it is not rare to encounter them in feather pillows. The end.
What is that then? A little.
So-
I imagine like a big meatball.
A big hairy meatball.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
nom.
Hungry again.
Yeah.
Right.
So Quiroga's basically making you freak out if you sleep on a feather pillow.
I've always imagined spiders in pillows because easy to get in.
Do you sleep on a feathery pillow or a foam?
I do now. Yeah, I'm doing well. I've got myself a feather
Yeah,
pillow.
nice John Lewis number.
I can't remember where I got it from, but I am in love with my feather pillows.
Yeah, me too.
It must be said.
Yeah,
And
nice
a
down.
feathered
down.
duvet. Stunning.
Yeah, stunning.
Gorgeous. Well, can't
Well,
go
you've
back.
better watch out for the little proboscis
Yeah,
anthropoid
little-
because
little-
something's going to fucking come for
Little
you.
meatball with teeth.
Meatball.
Love
Yeah,
that. Would you like another story?
of course.
From me, please.
Yes, from you, please.
From me, please.
From me to you.
Okay. A year ago, on the 3rd of February, I received this letter from my best friend, who I'll call Laura. We were both about 16 at the time. Hey, hope you're doing good. I have a story for you that I really hope you'll enjoy, so here goes. I hate the motorway. Nothing to look at, nothing to do, claustrophobia, sweltering heat. One of my main sources of travel-related stress, but this year, just like every year, my mum, dad, sister and I are going to visit my uncle in Wolverhampton, which means travelling for 3 or more hours from Norwich. Why don't you read your book, Laura? Mum called from the front seat. You know I feel sick if I do that, I whined for the 5th time that trip. Mum sighed and turned back to her seat as we drove past a sign reading Wolverhampton, 10 miles. Nearly there, Dad called cheerfully from the front seat. I decided to try and get some sleep before I had to endure the snores of Uncle Pete for 2 weeks. But before I could barely close my eyes, I heard my dad go, "Huh?" in a confused manner. I shuffled to look out the driver's window. There it was again. Wolverhampton, 10 miles. My sister spoke up for the first time in 2 hours and 45 minutes. All these signs looked the same, Dad, but it wasn't a similar sign. It was the exact same sign. Yeah, Dad said, reassuring himself. Crash! A crunch of metal and a scream. I blacked out. Endless falling back to reality, I thought. So nauseating, I thought I was going to be sick. Finishing off my stifled gasp, I opened my eyes. For a second, I forgot who I was and what I was doing in the back of the car in the middle of a motorway. I looked around the car, my head swivelling from one member of my family to another. My mum in the front passenger seat humming along to the music on the radio. My dad in the driver's seat looking relaxed, his thumb habitually tapping on the steering wheel. My sister, Julie, earphones in, blocking out the world, eyes closed. I didn't know if she was asleep, but what I did know was that I was the only one in the car who'd heard the crash. I felt an impact. I could have sworn that we'd crashed. Maybe I'd been dreaming. Laura, my dad said to me. I turned around and met his eyes in the rearview mirror. I froze. I didn't see my dad's... This is actually quite weird. I didn't see my dad staring back at me in the mirror. I saw dark holes and a maniacal grin. But I blinked and it was gone. I saw my dad's eyes just as they usually were, only now a little concerned. This is very similar to staring at in car. Staring at in car.
Which I'll do the next part.
Laura, are you okay? Wolverhampton, 10 miles. There it was again, the same sign. What could it mean? Crash!
Fucking Jesus.
The metal, the scream. Then almost as quickly as it started, it was over. Wolverhampton, 10 miles. What the fuck was the problem with all these signs? I wondered as I was looking out of the window. I turned my head. My whole body jumped. Julie was sat right next to me. I hadn't heard or felt her move, but she was right there. But that wasn't what had made me jump. Her face was a mere couple of inches from mine. No. Her face angled low, her eyes staring at me in a horrible grin. Imagine going, "Ah!" and her being here.
I'm going to do that on our next Ghost Hunt sleepover to you.
Oh I would die. I'd have an actual heart attack. I glanced to my left and to my horror, I saw my mum and dad had turned in their seats and they were staring and grinning at me They were staring and grinning at me just the same as Julie was. Crash, the metal, the scream, the crash, louder, there it was again. I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing myself for the inconsequential impact. I opened my eyes and my family were back to normal. Dad driving, his thumb tap, 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 Mum humming, Julie asleep. Wolverhampton, 10 miles. Am I losing my mind? Laura. The whisper made me cling to the door. Stop, I said. I felt Julie's breath on my face. I knew she was next to me again. I knew if I opened my eyes, I would see my family wearing those evil, horrible grins. Facing towards the window, I opened my eyes. Wolverhampton, 10 miles. Crash! A scream. And that's it. The end of the email. And I can't stop thinking about it. Because here's the thing. Laura sent this to me on the 3rd of February. But she died on the 2nd. She and her family had a huge car crash on the motorway and they all died 10 miles away from Wolverhampton. I think about it all the time. I think it's driving me crazy because I swear to God, I've just felt a breath on my cheek. Oh, the end!
So hang on. Laura, who's died with her family on the motorway, has sent an email to her friend being like, this is what's happened to me.
The day after she died.
Yes.
Me. And now someone's coming after John. John's the guy who's reading the email. So he's had this email, and as he's reading it, he can feel the breath of fucking weird Julie on his face.
Weird Julie.
Weird Julie. Here she is again, odd Julie.
Please, welcome to the stage. It's Weird Julie.
Oh, Mad Julie's back. I think that gave me the fucking creeps.
That's the willies. That's right, Willie.
That's the willies.
Do you know what that's terrifying? And also, I had a dream last night about a car crash.
Did you?
Yeah.
Adam had a dream that I'd come in saying I was going to wear some sexy outfit, and I just wore Peppa Pig. Right. Not the same vibe, is it? I was like,
no, but I did. Do you know what it is? It's because when we go to Great Yarmouth, we're going to rent a car.
Oh, is this next week? Is this week?
Yeah.
Oh, no, next week. When are you going?
Next week.
Oh, right. Are you going to drive?
No, am I? Fuck.
Lol.
But because I've never been in the car with Boyf, I think it's in my head because I'm like, I don't know what it's going to be like. It's a whole new thing.
Oh, that's exciting.
It is, but I obviously am a bit nervous about it because I had the oldie nightmare. Okay, so this is.
I am listening. I'm just going to
so this is to give you a recap, guys. Her husband, Richard, is staring at her, smiling. She's in a time loop. She throws herself out of the car. She ends up back in the car.
Yes.
She calls Richard's number on her phone. It's the only number that connects. As she's calling Richard's phone, it goes through, but it's not actually Richard's phone on the dashboard that is ringing. So clearly the phone is like ringing somewhere else. And a voice on the other end goes, "Hello, Evelyn."
Oh, yeah. So her husband is not in the car with her.
Exactly. Part 3. Richard? I held my breath, waiting for words from the other end of the call. Yes. I looked at the ever-smiling thing to my left, the landscape whizzing by behind his head. The wide, unmoving eyes of my former partner remained locked in my direction. I slouched in my seat, shrinking away from him in this fucked-up situation. "Where are you?" "I'm right here, Evelyn." But you're here, sitting next to me in the car. It's you, or maybe it used to be you. If you're on the other end of this call, what is this thing I've been driving next to for hours? I needed an explanation. "Tell me what's happening, Evelyn." Richard's voice sounded far away, but it calmed me a bit to hear it again. Some nights at home, just before drifting off to sleep, Richard would start a conversation about a major life topic like buying a new house or starting a family, and would be up for hours just listening to each other talk. I missed hearing his voice while trapped in this car. The smiling thing taunted me with its deafening silence. I closed my eyes and tried my best to tell Richard what was going on. "Well, you're sitting next to me in the car. It's you, but maybe it's not you. How can it be you? You're on the phone and the body in the driver's seat isn't moving and it isn't talking. You have been staring at me with an unearthly smile stretched across your face for the past... I don't know how long I've been in this car. Look, I can't escape. I can't get you to look away or talk or do anything. I tried jumping out the car, but I entered back inside. I remember the moments before hitting the asphalt, hoping I'd live, but ready to die just to escape. I know that sounds...
This is so weird how close to this story this is.
I know.
Oh, spooky.
It's very odd.
I like it.
I know it sounds insane, but it's the truth. I'm trapped. My voice started to shake as the thought of being forever stuck with this smiling demon crept in. "Help me, please." "How is all of this making you feel?" I sat up in my seat, caught off guard by the ridiculous question. "What the fuck, Richard? How do you think I'm feeling? Maybe it's some sick joke, but it's too supernatural. I don't know. Maybe I'm already dead. Maybe I'm being punished for something. This isn't real. It can't be. That means this phone call isn't even real. I considered hanging up the phone, but even if I was being punished, hearing Richard's voice was some vague consolation. You say you think you're being punished? I pulled my hair in frustration. My mind was no longer my own. This entire conversation with fake Richard must have been fabricated by my lost mind. It seemed futile to continue the conversation, but at this stage, what else was I going to do? Well, I've read enough horror stories to recognise this scenario. I'm trapped here in an unending hell world. Think, Evelyn. Have you done anything for which you should be punished? Why are you asking? What? Help me get out of here, I pleaded. You're my Richard, or maybe you're not, so whoever you are, please. I haven't been able to contact anyone since waking up to this smiling monster. We're weaving past cars. We haven't stopped for gas. It's not making any sense, and I just want out, please. I am trying to help you, Evelyn. Take a breath and think about the question. I stared through the windshield at the painted highway lines zipping towards us and disappearing out of sight under the car, considering the nameless voice on the other end of the call and its calm inquiries. Can I think of any reason why I should be punished? Yes. I closed my eyes. Slow inhale through my nose. An exhale through pursed lips. Put on the spot, imagine trying to recount all the mistakes you've made in your life. Does the mind retain every misstep? We learn and we adapt based on our mistakes. Perhaps guilt also plays a factor, but at some point we let go. We forget. I started with my most recent memories, something that must have occurred not long ago to send me here. Is there someone I've wronged? Have I broken any laws? No, I have a normal life. I try my best not to offend. Some may even call me meek, a pushover. I could use less plastic bags. I could tip a bit more at restaurants, but nothing deserving of this entrapment, this kidnapping, and the broken man with a broken smile beside me. Are you still with me, Evelyn? Yes. And I can't think of anything. I haven't done anything to deserve this, I'm certain. All right, that's good. If you're sure. Can you tell me what you see around you outside the car? Once again, I scoured the landscape. There was nothing but a blur of various shades of green. It's a forest. I haven't seen any animals or signs or exits off the highway. There are other cars, but I can't seem to get anyone's attention. It's hopeless, Richard. I still don't know if you're real because I've probably gone insane. But I don't think I'll ever be able to get out of this. This is my life now. A hard truth to accept. Maybe I would keep trying to escape after this phone call came to its natural conclusion. Perhaps I'd starve to death or die of dehydration, but oddly I haven't felt any hunger pangs for after hours and hours inside the car. No, Evelyn. This is not your life. We've both worked too hard for this, Evelyn. Listen to me. Look again. What do you see around you? I don't know. What do you want from me? It's you, me, the highway, the forest, this car, and people in other vehicles barreling down the road around us. People who won't pay me any goddamn attention. I heard Richard sigh. It was the kind of sigh he used when he was trying to contain his frustration with me. Okay, fine. Forget the outside. Close your eyes and tell me about your favourite memory. What? Your favourite memory? The scene you hold nearest to your heart? The moment that's never far from your thoughts? I couldn't see how it would help. I closed my eyes yet again. My stomach lurched and my face distorted as I hunted for something happy, but I could only remember the car. I don't know. You can do it, Evelyn. It's there. A flash. Bright sun, laughter, potato salad in my hair. What are you thinking about? I told the voice on the phone about the picnic forming in my mind. The face of Richard, the real Richard, swam into view. I could count the freckles across his nose. My hand was on his knee. He raised his camera and snapped a picture of me mid-laugh. We were in a park by the water near the bay. There was the lighthouse where my brother got married 3 years ago. There were couples holding hands, walking dogs. Children were playing tag in the distance, running barefoot through the warm grass.
Oh, straight into a dog shit.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's a bad memory. That's a nightmare.
That's exactly what I'd do. Frolicking.
Yeah.
Straight into a turd.
Straight into a turd, into a lake. Good, keep going. It felt good to remember. We talked about, it felt good to remember. The sun was warm on my face, a frisbee at the blanket, but we never got up to play, and that was fine. We brought too much food with us. We talked about getting a dog. My mouth turned into a relaxed smile. When was the last time I smiled? You found the place, Evelyn. What place? I asked dreamily. Your safe place. It's exactly where I need you to be. Need me to be? That's right. Now you're ready.
Oh.
I want you to kill him. Something shifted in my brain. It was as if my brain and my body were in two different places, no longer occupying the same space. What? I whispered. Kill Richard. Quickly, before you both get up to leave. Do you see anything around you can use as a weapon? I looked around. The picnic blanket we were sitting on, the blades of grass lazily swaying in the warm breeze, something silver glinted in the sun. It was a knife we brought. Plunged deep into a block of cheddar. Without much consideration, I wrapped my fingers around the handle.
I was just thinking about a cheese and mushroom sandwich as well.
Oh, you lost me on mushroom.
What? You don't like mushrooms?
No, they can get fucked.
Oh, I think they're one of the most incredible things ever.
I think you're absolutely wrong.
I think you're right.
You get an F.
I think you like avocado.
Avocado.
I think, mushrooms are incredible.
I wrapped my fingers around the handle.
Onion? Cheese and onion?
Yeah, always.
Delicious.
Oh, that the really cheap kind as well from a service station.
Oh, no, I like making my own.
Oh, no, I've never done that.
Grated cheese. Actually, not grated cheese. Big, thick slice of cheese. Big, thick onion. Red or white, whatever your preference is. And loads of butter and cheap white bread.
Ooh. Do you know what? Since the Tom Allen episode, I've wanted a Nutella sandwich.
Oh,
Cheap
no.
white bread, Nutella,
No, I don't
all the
really
way
care
through.
about that at all.
Oh, yes,
No,
please.
thank you.
Okay.
Jam. Actually, cheese on toast with jam on is delicious.
That's disgusting.
It is delicious. How is it
Your
disgusting?
jam and
you have
cheese.
cheese with grapes. You have cheese with apple. You have cheese with
No,
yeah.
I don't.
You don't.
No.
Well, cheese and pineapple on sticks.
Yeah.
Right. So what's wrong with
Yeah.
jam? You listen. Try it next time. Next time you're a bit. Next
That
time you
makes
want a
me
snack.
feel vile.
Make a piece of cheese on toast, hot under the grill. Pull it out. Pop a bit
I
of jam
actually
on.
feel a bit sick hearing you say that. It's a bit like you and creamy eggs.
Oh, creamy eggs. Those
Jam,
eggs were
jam
creamy.
on melted cheese. Oh, you're a wrong one.
Actually, no. I think you just do toast, butter, then put cheese on it, and then jam.
Oh, fuck. Honestly, I can't.
Delicious.
I've-
Yeah, exactly that kind of vibe.
that's different. Not raspberry jam.
No, raspberry. Strawberry.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's really good.
No, you're both wrong. Okay.
That was
Let
Tim
me-
suggesting chili jam.
Yeah, chili jam, fine.
No.
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 Okay. Let's crack on. Without much consideration, I wrapped my fingers around the handle. Kill him. The voice of Richard sang sweetly in my ear. Yes, it made sense. I had to kill him to escape. My happy moment would be tarnished forever, but it had to be destroyed for me to finally be free. I looked up from the knife to Richard's face. His face was no longer filled with love and affection. He was smiling, but oh God. It was that sinister, never-ending grin again. The horror had invaded the safe space I'd built. My eyes snapped open and we were back in the car. My lost driver gripping the steering wheel with his neck twisted towards me at a perfect 90-degree angle. I was twisted at the waist, my right hand in my lap, and I was holding the knife.
Good and cheese.
That was in the cheese, yeah. Involuntarily, or so it seemed, I raised my arm. I furrowed my brow. This didn't make sense. I couldn't do it. He's not who you think. Kill it, the voice said. The words coursed swiftly through my veins. I gripped the knife harder. My knuckles turned white. I gritted my teeth, concentrating my gaze. I knew exactly where to aim my strike. I'm sorry. I drove the sharp, cold metal straight through the pearly white wall of teeth. I pulled back. I plunged forward into the empty green eyes. First the left, then the right. I pulled back. I dug the steel into his chest.
She's just taking this guy's
Taking
word
him
for
out.
it on the phone.
Yeah. Double Richard.
I want a bit more
Double
evidence to know that he's. How do you know which one's
Yeah, well,
double dick?
double dick.
Double dick. It's turned into a
Kill 'em
fucking.
both.
It's turned into porn.
Yeah.
That's Eiffel Tower.
I dug the steel into his chest, targeting his heart, the heart that I once possessed. The menacing smile never faltered as crimson began to overtake his entire face. I placed my hand on its chest, sobbing. Evelyn, are you still there? The voice was clearer now. I looked at my glistening hands. Stained red. I looked up. The room came into focus. I was strapped into a black faux leather chair that squeaked uncomfortably when I shifted my weight. A man stood a few feet away. I looked at the familiar name on his white jacket.
Dick.
Dr. Richard Amnes. He was smiling. Looking straight into my eyes, he leant forward slightly, waiting for a response. Yes, Richard, I'm here. He expelled a small laugh and pulled a recorder from his pocket. Richard spoke calmly into the microphone.
Like a school recorder.
Yeah.
He played Three Blind Mice.
Richard... He pulled a recorder from his pocket. Richard spoke calmly into the microphone. Evelyn has successfully emerged from trial 1. The end? Question mark.
What's that about then?
What
It's
is
been a whole big experiment. This is where
I think it's been
Yeah, lovely.
a fucking experimento. Do you know what I mean? A bit like Stranger Things or
Oh,
something.
lovely.
If anyone has any ideas of what is going on there.
Yeah, please do let us know.
But that was creepy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I like the whole in a car staring vibes.
Yeah, and just locked in a loop.
Yeah.
It's weird that we had 2 car loops.
Really weird.
Very
Really weird,
yeah,
actually. Same
yeah,
times.
very
Well,
spooky.
these things happen all the time. I keep going to Matt and Stephen's house, and something happens in their kitchen every time I'm there.
Yeah, I'd like to go and check their place out.
I went the other night, and something just fell. I just don't know what it is.
Matt and
Just
Stephen,
a
am
big
I
smash.
allowed to come over and check out
Yeah.
the ghosts?
Just a big smash. They were like, "You've got to get out." It's only when you're here these things happen. And the
Really?
week before, you'd heard whispering when I came.
Do you know what we
Really
need to
weird.
do, actually? We need to see if something's attached to you, because I
Yeah, I
actually
think
think
it is.
you've encouraged a demon presence.
Nothing happens at my parents when I'm not there.
Yeah. You've
Fucking
got
typical.
something attached to you.
Fucking typical.
Parasite.
Okay, are you ready for a creep of the week?
Creep of the week. Creep of the week. We didn't do that last time. Creep of the week, creep of the week, creep of the week.
Thank
and
you.
to make up for not having it last week, creep of the week. Creep of the week.
Anyway,
Creep of the
hi,
week. Creep of the week.
hi, Susie, Hannah, and Barney. This was a very long time ago.
Aw.
Tim, this is for you. I love your podcast. I started watching on TikTok and have gone on to watching the YouTube videos. I guess you can say I'm a bit of an online Lynn. I just peek onto YouTube and stare at my screen, listen and laugh at you guys, joking, bickering and laughing. I will admit you guys have scared the shit out of me more than once, and that's okay. My name is Dawson. I live in Port de Grey. Dawson is also a patron.
Dawson.
Yeah, Dawson. Cause
Dawson,
Canada.
like the creek.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, definitely. Dawson's creep.
Dawson's
Creep of the week. Very good.
Dawson,
If
come
you've
on.
ever heard of Newfoundland, I suggest you research it. And if you've never heard of Newfoundland, I suggest you research it. And you'll find or hear a lot of scary and disturbing stories of fairies, ghosts, legends, leprechauns, etc.
Shut it. Leprechauns in Newfoundland. How
Yeah.
did they get that?
My story, you may ask, should be short and sweet, but knowing myself as I am not a short and sweet kind of storyteller. So in Port de Grave, Newfoundland, you will hear of a place called Blow Me Down. Sexy. Which houses a little turnaround area called Lover's Leap. There are 2 stories to go with Lover's Leap. One is years ago, I'd say around the early 1900s, a woman's fiancé went to war. He told her he loved her and he will return to her, and when he got back, he was going to marry her. Until one day she receives a telegram saying he was killed in action. The woman was devastated and felt that she could never live without him, so she jumped off the side of the cliff's edge and plummeted down to the sea's edge, where there is a lot of sharp standing rocks. Her body was never recovered. People say she still haunts Blow Me Down, and they have heard her crying in the wee hours of the morning. Number 2, in the 1950s, I believe, there was a young couple who decided to take a drive down around Port de Grave to look at the whales. They come across an area, which was Lover's Leap, where they could lean on a fence and look at the ocean with it being so close. And all.
I feel like I'm there.
Yeah, it's very good. The man steps back and gets onto one knee to propose. The woman turns around, still leaning on the rickety fence, surprised by the sight, took a step back, and before she even had a chance to answer, the fence broke away and she fell to her death.
No.
How awful is that? The man leapt after her and well endured the same fate she did. A bit more. I'd be like, hang on,
I'd be like, well, we're not getting married.
I'm going to give it a
She dead.
second. Yeah, she's gone. The bodies were recovered as several witnesses had called emergency services as soon as it had happened, but it was too late. They were gone. My story begins with me getting back from a road trip, and before driving another hour to my apartment after driving 7 hours already, I decided to spend a night at my mom's place. My mom literally moved into this house 2 days prior to me travelling home. The house is a tiny 2-bedroom home located in Blow Me Down, Port de Grave. I love the sound of this place.
Yeah, Blow Me Down, Port de Grave.
Right across the street is what is known to be Lover's Leap. At this point, I'd never even heard of Lover's Leap, let alone heard the stories that came with it. Anyhow, the house is really old but quaint and renovated. The only thing that made me uneasy was that the guest bedroom where I was staying for the next couple of nights. The guest bedroom was a small room. It had a single bed, and at the end of the bed was a tiny, tiny closet. I will say I never liked sleeping with the closet door open, but the door just wouldn't shut as there was boxes being stored away in there for the time being. As I fell asleep, dreams circulated my big melon head, and I was dead asleep. That was until I had an out-of-body experience, or that is what I believe it to be. All of a sudden, my mind flashed and I started levitating out of my body. Everything around me was dark, but my body was well lit, and I was looking down at my own face, watching myself sleep. Then I heard a thud coming from the darkness. I turned around in my ghostly state and didn't see anything. But then it all happened so fast. I heard the loud, deafening sound of a woman shrieking, 2 grey hands that were wet and dripping with water, and long black fingernails. I quickly reached down and grabbed my she quickly looked down and grabbed my ankles. Looking down at myself, my eyes shot open, and in an instant I was yanked out of bed into the darkness.
Oh
I gasped and shot awake as I felt all the sensations of everything I'd just dreamt of. I told my mother the next day of my experience, but she passed it off as a bad dream. I just rolled my eyes in a whatever way and walked away. That night, my sister decided to stay home instead of going to her boyfriend's, as my sister hadn't yet stayed in the house. So it was perfect. I had to sleep in the living room anyways. Late in the night, around 3:30, I would woken up to my sister screaming. I yelled, "Are you okay in there?" No response. I assume it's just her sleep talking again and maybe having a nightmare. Morning comes, I wake up at around 9 a.m. to my sister in the chair in the living room. I wake her and say, "What are you doing?" She explains she won't be staying in that room again. Curious, I asked why. I went cold as she explained the exact horror that I'd endured the night before. I now live back with my mum. I've only been here 3 months and I live in the room that I said I'd never go back to, but I waited 3 years before doing so. So I could be sure that nothing else scary and weird was happening in the house. Thank you for listening. I know I can't tell stories well. I think you actually can. That was very, very good. I hope this makes it on the pod anyway. Lots of love from your Newfie friend, Dawson. Fun fact, did you know that Newfoundland was once its own country, owned and ran by Britain? Oh, classic.
Oh, we're awful.
We're everywhere. Sorry about that. What a stunning story.
Wow, and I've always wanted to go Newfoundland.
Yeah.
It's like desolate and white and
Yes, it
snowy
sounds
and
lovely.
haunted.
Very haunted.
I think that's very up our alley, actually, Hannah.
Yes. Shall we move
Do
on?
you know what? Can I just quickly
Yeah, go on.
say, I think me and you should apply to do race around the world.
Oh, we would be excellent at that.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, not excellent at it. I think we'd be very entertaining. Shall we apply?
I actually
Oh,
genuinely.
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, let's apply.
But I just think they went to Newfoundland, one of them, and I was besotted.
Oh, great.
Besotted, Dawson, besotted.
We'll add that onto the admin day. Apply for Race Across the World.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And they're
very
like,
us.
who the fuck are you?
No, we'd be great on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, could you please haunt me?
Yeah.
For God's sake. Oh, the silence is telling. That was a great episode. They were a great couple of episodes, actually. What's happening? Why are you being all weird? She's turning the lights down. She's got a mirror in her hand. I think she's being possessed. Oh, what am I doing?
It's very dark.
Oh, she's handed me. She's not saying anything to me. It's really weird.
Okay.
God, my eyebrows are so good today.
Right. What I want you to do is
Stunning.
get your phone torch and illuminate your face. Right.
God, my
Now,
pores
what
are
I'm going to
huge.
do is, I want you to say, "Oh, Jesus, fuck."
Jesus, fuck.
No, that really scared me.
There, is that all right? Okay.
Right. What I'm going to do is, I have the flash on, okay? And I'm going to take a photo after you've done this incantation.
Okay.
And I'm going to then look back at the photo and I'm going to see if there's something that appears
Okay, yeah.
behind you.
Go ahead.
Oh, shit. Someone
Somebody
just
walked
went past
past.
that. Yeah.
All the ways at this time.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Are you ready to repeat after me?
Yes.
Spirit of three,
Spirit of three,
come to me.
come to me.
Spirit of three,
Spirit of three,
come to me.
come to me. What?
One more time.
Spirit of three, come to me.
Now shut your eyes. I think you open them again. Right. Stare into the mirror. Taking one more.
Oh, my eyelash is coming off.
Okay. I'm going to see if something's appeared.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I've just taken the photo.
Yeah.
I can't actually see anything behind
Okay.
you. But
Stunning.
do you know what I will do? I'm going to check. I'm going to have a real look into
Have
this.
a real look in.
Yeah, I will.
I like that mirror. It's nice.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining us.
thank you,
That was a
guys.
stunning little episode. We will see you next time. Remember, if you can't get enough, if you want more episodes, if you want
Yeah.
more content, if you want to see all of our ghost hunts, do go over to www.patreon.com/
Ghost Huns.
And you will
I will
find us
be,
there.
I'll be doing the decapitated chicken next week, so we'll get a bit more Quiroga in.
We'll see you later.
See you next
Bye.
week. Bye. Love you, bye.